for a brand new episode of Before the Cape. We're talking about Shimmer Hug, aka the 2 episodes of Smallville season 1 called Shimmer and Hug. Another one of these episodes, and we're talking about 2 episodes together in one episode. And this one's a special one because it actually marks the halfway point of season 1. I was just counting. This is our 7th episode of Before the Cape, and it also marks us being exactly halfway through season 1 of our big journey of going through Smallville. So how exciting is that? So, but without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right. Well, good to have everyone back this week. Talk about some more Smallville. Where these were quite enjoyable episodes. I really enjoyed them. So ready to talk about them. So let's do it. First episode is Shimmer, where I think the first good talking point about this episode is, well, I mean, obviously, you knew what was happening, but I'd still be curious in knowing your thoughts for when you first saw the episode. Is we see this whole scene where they're in the locker room, right? Or back room in the gym. There's a room name for it that I can't think of right now. But
the locker room?
I was gonna say I don't know.
Isn't there anyway? They're back there in the locker room, and then stuff starts flying around. And at this point, you don't know what the threat is, as you're just introduced what it is to the episode, right? And seeing that things are getting flown around. What was your first thoughts on what that could be?
What are your thoughts, Andrew? I already knew.
Oh, all right. I don't know. I figured it had something to do with the brother of the girl we see, because that boy that had stuff that was attacked in the locker room was just like teasing her, and then the brother came and was like whatever. But then I was like, well, he's obviously got to be invisible, and I'll give him credit. I thought the effect of him being invisible with the fog or the steam was kind of cool there in the locker room.
Yeah, that was cool.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting that, but we never really learned if it has anything to do with like the kryptonite. Like, how does he turn invisible? As far as I can recall,
we did sort of.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was able to, that there were these green tinted roses growing outside
that's right.
their guest home,
Okay,
which we do see them later on. It's
yes,
a little blink and you miss it thing, but there are these roses that had this green tinge to them. They never focused on them, but yeah, he used that, and
that's right.
I don't think he knew it was kryptonite, but he
just knew that it turned him invisible. So
yeah. I do think it was interesting that we're jumping far ahead, but whatever. I do think it was interesting that Clark's reaction to it wasn't as strong, but it was still there because it's like been like diluted through these roses and through the other chemical compounds that this kid used to create this stuff. So while he does kind of get like nauseous, he doesn't get weak. He doesn't lose his powers. So yeah,
I did notice that. That was interesting.
And at one point, I was like, they weren't using the sound effect for when he is affected by kryptonite, and I was like, did someone forget to use the sound effect? But now I'm thinking it is because it wasn't as strong of an effect. So
yeah, it's really interesting. I will say I personally did not connect the dots as Andrew mentioned right away.
You thought it was a ghost?
I that was one of the first thoughts as I was like, oh, is this a ghost? Is it a yeah, I didn't catch on what was going on until a bit later on. I'm not gonna lie. So
There's going to be a story about Ebenezer Troy and trying to teach him to not be a bully, get him to change his evil ways.
Oh, that
would have been a good ghost
Out
for next episode. Um
yeah.
But yeah, no, I like I said, I didn't catch on to that right away, and so I had a bunch of things going on through my head of like, oh, what exactly is this thing going on? You know, is it someone just invisible? Like that is one of the first possibilities I had, but I didn't know who it would be, or you know, also like some sort of spirit. I thought would have been cool because like one of the things Superman's weak to is magic, so I thought it would have been cool to actually try to get some magic stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
If we didn't get that, at least not yet. Maybe we'll
How
get magic
heavy
stuff.
do you guys think that weight was? Like, that guy doesn't look like that big of a guy, but he also doesn't
No.
look like me or Spencer, so he possibly could pick up a weight and use enough force to knock down this big guy.
Maybe the kryptonite gave him some strength. I don't know if the invisibility had a way to like.
He was able to
So
like slam Clark
yeah,
against
so maybe
something
some
later.
kind of strength.
Possible.
My guess is they were probably like 10-pound weights, if that, because it looked like something that you just picked up and did quick curls with. I mean, I don't know.
It's a good question.
It took all his force. You just didn't see him, but he had to pick it up with both hands and then,
Yeah, and go,
Throw forward.
it wouldn't look as cool if he wasn't invisible.
That's exactly, yes. Yeah. Because you don't see the struggle. You just see the weight going, oh, okay. No.
Speaking of this kid, I wouldn't classify this as a power, but it's still not exactly the best thing because he has to be naked for this to work.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So at some points, like in the locker room, it looks pretty steamy in there, so it's probably fine. But like later on, it's like it's cold, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Oh,
true. He's got to hope
funny.
that thing doesn't wear off quick because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how much time. I wonder if there was a time limit or if it just had to be wiped off. Because like Chloe was able to like wipe it off with like a Kleenex,
Yeah.
which also isn't that great. Like he picks up this weight in this very human room, and it doesn't like reveal his hand at all. And like he's not all that humidity. You'd think he would start to like patches of him would start to show
Yeah,
up.
he'd start sweating and it would probably wear off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are the questions that we need answers to, Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for all the invisible effects in this episode, I thought it was actually pretty good for its time.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought the same
especially
thing,
with the hand in the water. Which why
That
didn't
was
it come
really
off
cool.
in the water? Maybe it's water resistant.
It must be. What the heck is this kryptonite stuff? I don't know.
What the heck is this kryptonite goo?
I mean, if
Just-
he's been doing testing, he's like creating this chemical composition, he probably would figure
Yeah.
out, okay, so I need to have it be resistant to water. So he adds something for that.
That's true.
But that was a cool effect, yeah, of the
Mm-hmm.
kind of see-through-ish hand in the water.
Yeah, I did really like how that looked. You know, something interesting though was along the same line and also a bit farther ahead. I want to find the moment here because there's a moment where Clark did see the person. I think it was right after that.
Yeah, he used his X-ray vision.
Oh yeah, that was
He used it twice because he used it to look for the watch, and then he used it later when in the episode when it's like the final fight, and he can see where he is, and then the paint spills on him, and then it reveals him.
Yeah, but he doesn't see him until the bathtub save.
Right.
Oh yeah,
So
That's right. Yeah, that was yeah. I forgot. Yeah, he uses it there. Yeah.
oh wow, that was some pretty accurate.
I thought they were gonna off this Victoria lady after 2 episodes being featured on the show. I'm like, what the heck?
I thought they were gonna kill Troy. Like I was surprised it didn't happen.
Hmm.
And even here, the kid. Okay, well, he did get kind of murderous, but
Yeah.
he was mainly trying to scare Victoria away. Like I don't know
Hmm.
if he fully would have drowned her or if he would just do that and then pull her slightly out of the water so that she didn't drown or something. But he definitely.
He
I
held
mean,
her underwater for a long time, though.
you hit someone in the face with a mace or whatever that weapon is at the end that he hits Clark with in the face.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
that and he did that before he knew that Clark was different. So
So he was really trying to get rid of Clark there.
kid's got problems.
Yeah. We can see it even when he's not invisible. He just gives off these these invisible kid
Problem child.
problem child vibes. Like, what the heck, kid?
Standard problem child. Coming up with a chemical composition to make yourself invisible so that you can act like a ghost to scare people and then try to hit people in the face with a mace. Pretty standard.
Yeah, the brother and sister here, they played an interesting role that added more to Luther. And so
Yeah.
it was
Because as far as we
interesting
know,
to-
no one else had lived. We didn't know anyone else that lived on the estate until now.
Yeah. And so learning more, seeing their connection to it all there is I don't know, it was interesting.
I think it does say something about Lex. Because he specifically brought them from where he was living in Metropolis. You don't do that if you don't care. I mean, maybe if they fluff your pillows just the right way. But I think it's more because he did care. It's like he's not getting any humanity connection from his father. He's not getting it from the women that he dates. He's not getting it from friends. He doesn't have any friends other than Clark now. So it makes sense that he would try to make some kind of connection with
Sure.
other people. So I think this does say something about him, especially later when it's revealed that this girl has a crazy obsession with him and also that she might have been attacking his girlfriend. He doesn't press charges. He's like, I want her to get help and I will pay for it. You know, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and even after the brother attacks him, he's still like, gotta get therapy for him, So yeah, he's definitely not. He's not evil Lex yet. So
yeah, that is an interesting point. Like we really don't get to know too much of the family other than obviously they have some sort of importance. And so I don't know, it'd be interesting to see maybe if we eventually got more of them at some point. But
I'll tell you what, nothing against the actress that plays the girl here, but I found her voice just annoying throughout the episode. That like high pitch, girly voice, like, and maybe they told her to do that, and so she was playing.
No,
well,
that's
but
her.
like,
That's her voice. I've seen her.
well,
in
I
other
do
stuff.
apologize, but I just was like, okay.
I always thought it never bothered me. I always thought it was an interesting, different sounding kind of voice.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't make my ears bleed, but I just was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
We need to Lex needs to find out about her crush so that she can just move on. So I did like how Lex threw in the line that he was when the brother was like, oh, she loves you. And he's like, she's also like in high school. Like, I'm an adult here. Like, this would not be legal. You know,
Yeah.
like I think he even said like it would send me to jail or something like that. And then he could just buy his way out of jail. But still, at least he stood his ground and he wasn't like, yeah, I'll consider it. So
Well, speaking of that, and like how her obsession with him was a lot of it was based around the fact that he made her feel seen. Um, I think, as I was talking about with his connection to this family, that they make him feel seen. Not just her, but just that humanity within them makes him feel seen. So it's a nice little subtle through line.
Yeah.
Smallville isn't always subtle, but especially with Pete saying things like, "You're not the flying type, Clark."
yeah, that was funny.
You're not the flying type.
Well,
Yeah,
what
it was
about
really on that nose.
what
One
about
moment.
Clark in this episode? Like he was really forward. He's like, "Nah, man. Whitney doesn't treat her the way she deserves to be treated." Lana.
Mhm.
And he's like going for it.
You know, I really thought they were gonna like he was gonna fully go through with it, but I kept going, don't do it, Clark. Because Chloe even tells him the line of once you go for it, you can't hide behind the shield of friendship. And I want them. Like I want him to go for it, but it didn't feel right yet.
It didn't?
Well, just because Whitney is still, you know,
Yeah.
involved. And I know that
Technically, it would be cheating.
yeah, and I know that like Lana doesn't necessarily know about the heart medication for his dad, but it just and I think Clark even realized that after Nell came out that it was like he was like, wait a minute. I think he even says later in the episode, he's like, if you know, if I was your girlfriend and Whitney was having you on his loft or doing these things, I would. So it just that's why I was like, don't do it, Clark, you know.
Yeah. No matter how Clark has. Wait, no, that didn't make sense. No matter how Whitney has treated Clark in the past, he is right. Like, Clark,
Yeah.
there's obvious feelings there, and it's obviously mutual feelings, no matter what the two of them say about
Yeah.
just being friends. So, um, and this episode definitely caught Lana in a moment of weakness.
Mhm.
That she's just like, I don't know what to do with this guy anymore. Clark makes me feel seen. He listens to me. He's there when I need him. So if Clark hadn't stopped this from happening, she might have just laid one
Yeah.
on him first. She obviously, in that sunset scene between them, like, I don't know how you act this because it's
Hmm.
just odd. That she
Probably
was
awkward.
able to have this look in her eyes that was just very longing, and she seemed to get closer and closer to him without even moving
Yes.
throughout that scene. Um, so yeah, I thought she did really well, but it's definitely good it didn't happen at this moment, especially after Clark found out about
Yeah.
Laura.
And he even felt bad, I think, after once he found out, he was like, ah, what if I had done that, you know? So thought it was interesting when the blood drive was going on that Lana's organizing. I kept going. I was like, Clark can't donate blood, so how's he gonna get out of this without saying I can't donate blood? And then you know the needles. I was like, all right, that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
works.
So
Yeah, I like the character bits involving that whole blood drive, situation going on of, Clark wanting to be part of it, but knows he can't be part of it. And so but no, I thought that was a good like subplot to go through this. Um overall. Like I enjoyed where it all like went with all the characters. I felt like it all kind of like added something to all the characters. And then as you all kind of touched on the twist with Whitney later, and so I thought it was an overall good subplot to go along with the main thing going on.
Yeah, because even with Whitney, he didn't want to be seen in like his own vulnerabilities or his father's vulnerabilities. You know, frequently a lot of people look up to their fathers as like invincible, and I think he was more making excuses about he didn't think Lana could handle it, when I think it was more about he couldn't handle it and he didn't want to be seen, but both Clark and Lana, you know, pushed him to acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay to be seen and to be vulnerable in this moment.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he kind of throws in the line though, Whitney, that's kind of like a jab there when he says, you know, if you're not going to be there for Lana, I will, kind of thing, or something along those lines. I was like,
oh yeah.
oh, Clark, all right. Yeah.
Getting a little
You might-
ballsy there, Clark.
Yeah. Remember, Whitney already tied you up once. He could tie you up again. So
If he has the necklace,
that's true.
which we haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's a good point. I don't think we've seen it since he returned it to Lana, now that I think of it.
Wonder why she hasn't been wearing it then.
Maybe she noticed that Clark isn't weird around her.
Or she's trying to, you know, like the thing with the blood drive. She's talking about that she's continuing to try to find her place in this world. And part of that might be starting to let go of some things, including this necklace that is like an attachment to her parents. That maybe she's trying to leave that behind a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'll be awaiting its eventual return, hopefully. We'll see.
But one more thing about Clark and like his decision to not go forward with Lana, especially after he learns about the stuff going on with Whitney. Because up till now it's just like, well, Whitney's a jerk. So it doesn't matter. But after he finds out this information, and you know, he has that talk with Lex that is like, what would you do? And Lex is like, oh, I would go for it.
Yeah.
But you're different, Clark. And he's right. Clark, whether or not they had this discussion, Clark wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have gone through with it because, you know, we've talked about like things building Clark into being the person who he is as Superman. And like, it's not just about powers, and it's not just about big things about like whether he decides to kill or not, like big morality issues. It's the smaller things too. Like Clark is just a good person,
Yeah.
you know? And so this is a facet of that.
Yeah, he's kind of got that bit of self-control, you know, to look at the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have all of high school, Clark. So, you know.
Yeah. I was just looking across at other bits here, because we do have some other things. I gotta say, I want to especially highlight the moment in the back here. The whole moment together. Part of what the thumbnail for this episode was a great moment between them, and it was
The sunset.
Yeah, the whole sunset and everything back there is really good.
Mm-hmm. I liked that scene a lot. I liked Clark saying how, you know, he doesn't want to hurt her, and if he tells her what he wants to tell her, he'd hurt her. And
Right.
like you said earlier, Ian, you could see Lana was full on like, no, tell me, you know, she was like giving herself to Clark, and Clark was like, that's when he says the line about Whitney and stuff, and he's just like, I can't, you know, it's
Right.
not right. So I liked that.
And she knows what he wants to say, but
yeah.
And that scene is just I mean, they touched on it themselves in the actual lines about missing the sunset, so it's like they missed their moment. And I just love that the lighting, changed. The sun literally set and the lighting changed and darkened as they missed that moment.
Mm.
So it was a very well done scene. And I couldn't find it. I was looking in the notes on the Wikipedia for Smallville because I was like, well, maybe I found this out there, but because I don't think there's a commentary on this episode with the creators. But I learned that I don't have my sources right now, but I learned at some point that this scene with the sunset in the background was like one of their most expensive scenes to do, if not the most expensive moment up to this point, because of like the way they had to do the CGI effects of the sunset and timing it with everything with the scene. So it's just one of those, especially since the effect is like pretty much fully seen throughout this long moment. It just racks up the money. So it's just one of those things that you wouldn't think would be expensive can be really expensive. So I always found that really interesting. So I got to find my source of what that was. Anyways,
That's interesting. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, as we don't really see a whole lot of crazy visual effects to that degree throughout the show so far. There's been little bits here and there. Really, since I'd say the meteor shower in episode 1, this was like the most we've gotten in like one scene.
And even for those, there were cuts. Like one of the biggest
Yes.
thing that
Yeah.
adds up cost is there not being a full cut that you can cut away and compartmentalize each effect. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I also want to specifically ask about a scene. This is a bit earlier back when Clark and Lex are together at his house, and as we see, there's the whole light doorway, and they go into this room, and this room, I don't know about you all, but and it's definitely also after coming off the hype of Stranger Things, having just come out last week.
Oh yeah.
I feel very much like, oh, this is like the upside down room that they just entered here, which is quite kind of bizarre and unexpected to see.
Yeah, I was kind of confused by the light and everything. I didn't know how Jeff or whatever his name was could have done that. So
yeah, it was definitely interesting, and they didn't really like elaborate on it much, other than, hey, like here's a special.
yeah, it made it on the
weird
closed wall
room.
of weird, and that was it.
Yeah, very weird room. Yeah.
So I've never watched Stranger Things, so I didn't get that little call out. But what got me, this made me laugh so much, is right before they enter the room, Lex goes to open the door and there's like an explosion of noise and stuff, and Lex literally leaps into Clark's arms. He's like, ah, and grabs onto Clark. So funny. Clark saved me.
I know you're special.
Clark shaved me.
Yeah, that might have been it. I mean, maybe he's like,
this is the
in
test.
moments like that, he's like, he knows there's something about Clark. So, but I just thought it was so funny.
That is funny. I didn't catch on to that, but I love your reenactment that you did there.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, briefly we did get a little bit of Lionel Luthor in this episode as well.
See, I couldn't remember if that was in this episode or not, so I didn't bring it up at first.
As I to say, is brief.
Small but impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to know his hair care routine because it always just looks good. Probably can't afford the products anyway, because this is a Luther we're talking about. So
Right. It's what he spends most
Probably
of
some
doing.
extinct whale blubber.
yeah,
Extinct whale blubber.
Yeah, because they like drove them to extinction, and then they keep. It's very rare what they have left for this concoction.
bunch of expensive words there. So yeah.
Expensive words.
It's literally called expensive words shampoo and conditioner.
Right.
Probably, yeah. Oof.
It costs more the more you talk about it, you know. So
Yes. Yeah.
One thing about this episode that was nice is that we got to see more of the Luther Mansion than we ever have. Like usually we only get to see that one single room, and yet here we get to see like this
Got to see the
war room
bathroom.
study where he
Oh, yeah.
woos his girlfriend.
Yeah.
As well as a bathroom that is bigger than most apartments.
Yeah. What's up with that? Jeez.
Why can't I have a bathroom like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a castle, so you need to get
Why can't I
yourselves
have
a
a castle?
castle.
We need a castle. What if we go
We
all in
his
for a
dad's
castle?
artifact room at the end, or some of it at least. And then Luther at the end, Lex is like, "Yeah, my mom never liked that room anyway."
Yeah. And for some reason, they were doing some sort of, I don't know, maintenance or something, so that there is this scaffolding
Yeah.
that
Just
it
randomly
has
in
paint
there.
cans on top. Like you see it earlier on, first when Lex is looking for his watch. And I'm like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
is that? Is it just there
Mhm.
so that it falls over on someone at some point? And kind of,
Sure
it's a booby
enough.
trap for an intruder.
Yeah.
They get painted.
yeah. I mean, very convenient. But it was a cool effect. Like that looked really cool of the
Yeah.
paint going over him, partially revealing him.
Yeah, I think both of these episodes had some pretty solid effects for their time. That definitely being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely,
And the mace. The mace was cool.
That was really cool too. And we got another thing a lot like that too in the next episode, which I think was arguably better.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. But I think that pretty much brings it to a close for this first episode. We do need to obviously do our superstars.
Oh yeah. All right, Spencer, you go first.
Me go first. You know, I think this episode is kind of a tough one to really pick one because you had a lot of different things kind of going on with it. One thing we didn't necessarily mention is we didn't really talk about Victoria kind of being a little shady.
Yeah.
Not knowing,
Yeah.
Lex saying,
Lex
"Oh yeah, I
doesn't
know."
care.
Yeah, Lex doesn't care. Lex feels like he has a grip on the situation.
But Lex did say that because it's his mansion, nothing goes on without him knowing. Because Clark approaches him, is like,
Right.
"Hey, she was going through your," and he's like, "My files."
Yeah,
And
he's
I'm
like, "Yeah, I know."
Wonder how. Yeah.
See, there's two different ways to go here, and I will go with the route of I really liked what Lana was doing in this episode because she had this whole special blood drive thing going on, and throughout this we did get some great character development, especially one for a character that seemed like a complete douchebag, but now we got more out of him with this episode, which really stood out. So that'll be my pick.
Wait, you chose Whitney?
Well, I was choosing more Lana for being the central person in that, but
okay,
because of the blood drive and everything there. But yeah. What about you, Andrew?
I'm gonna go with Clark on this one. Because twice in one episode he has a shot at the girl of his dreams. And the first one, yeah, if Nell doesn't come and break it off, that he goes all the way. But when he could towards the end tell her all his feelings, he, like I said earlier, he looks at the bigger picture and decides that's not the best idea right now. Once he learns about Whitney, and
Mhm.
I guess it just kind of shows like a maturity side of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's good. And so I think I'll go with Clark because, of course, he saves the day at the end. So
Right.
bonus points there. So
The and the big last shot too, where he's
yeah,
stalking them.
and he kind of teases Lex where his watch is when his watch is missing. He's kind of like, oh, let's go check on this girl, So yeah.
All right, Ian.
Well, I just want to comment on one thing that Andrew just said there about Clark seeing the big picture. And I think that's another subtle thing about the episode in its entirety, actually, but with several other characters as well, about seeing the bigger picture. Like there's the thing with, is her name Amy?
Hmm.
Like they're trying to, like, you expect that she was the one behind everything, but when you look at the bigger picture, it's like, no, she wasn't behind this, it was her brother. And for Lex, like he with Victoria, he's like, oh yeah, I know. And he's like, don't worry about it, Clark. And it's like, he's like, his father accuses him specifically of not looking at the bigger picture. But I think he is. We don't know exactly what it's all about yet, but he does see the bigger picture. So I just found that to be an interesting parallel that I hadn't thought of before. For me, well, I'm gonna say Amy
Okay.
because she was able to get a photo of Lex in the cornfield from the first episode. It's a blink and you miss it thing, but in her little shrine thing, there's a photo of 12-year-old Lex in the cornfield.
And
She's got
we
skills.
still don't know. We still don't know how she got into his bedroom or office without being seen. Because she mentions that she got in there. He tells to Clark, and he's like, "She didn't see you," and she's like, "Nope."
This is not what I
Have
was
you guys
expecting.
ever seen The Secret Garden?
No.
I've not.
Okay.
My sister has.
Okay, great movie. But there's like a bunch of secret passageways throughout this big mansion house. I
Makes
think
sense.
a lot of them are meant to be like specifically, which makes sense for this as well, specifically meant to be servants' doors and servants'
Mhm.
tunnels so that they're not seen. So she
Makes
would
sense.
probably
Yeah.
be, it makes sense that this place would have some of the same things and that she would be using those and to be able to be not seen by like Victoria or Lex. But that's my joke one. Because she just the skills to get that photo. I don't know. But mine will be Clark as well, for all the reasons that Andrew already said. Like doing the right thing. Clark always does the right thing, even if it's not in his best interests. And he also might have been seeing, the bigger picture, not just about how this would affect Whitney, but how this could look on themselves. Like this, as Andrew, you were
Mhm.
saying earlier, this wasn't the right moment. If they started their relationship this way, while she's technically still with Whitney, it wouldn't be right. And Clark's not like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, Clark.
Very cool. Before we move on to the next episode called Hug, since I didn't do this at the very beginning, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. I want to make sure anyone that tunes in right now, make sure you hit that like button, and if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. Inching closer to 200 subs, almost there. And then I also wanted to say, the Dingus Den is now officially part of a, what do you want to call it? A group of content creators now,
Network.
which is a network. Thank you. Is now part of a network that has just started, just got announced a few days ago, and so we're still figuring out exactly what we're doing. We're still setting up a bunch of things right now for it. But make sure to check out Shenanigans Collective, which is being heralded by Steve from Rebel Nerd Radio. Dingus Den's now part of that. Tabletop Lounge is part of it. Got a couple other channels part of it, such as Nick Flicks and the Iconist podcast. And so make sure you check everyone out there. And we'll be trying to figure out some things there exactly for where we're going. So I don't have a link readily available right now for all that stuff. Actually, I think links for that stuff is still kind of like being worked on right now. As like I said, it's just something that literally just got announced a few days ago. And we're working on still organizing certain things, but make sure you go check everything out. So, and that is Shenanigans Collective. But yeah, let's now get into episode 11 of the show, which is called Hug. Which
Can I just call shenanigans on this episode?
Shenanigans on this episode? You know, we kind of did. Got some funky shenanigans with this guy. Yeah, this episode was. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I think between the two, this one might be my favorite of the two. I mean, I think they were both really solid, but I did really like this one. It's funny too because I was literally just doing a bit of reading on the classic Daredevil stories, and throughout one of those classic Daredevil stories, you get somebody named the Purple Man, or he's also in the Jessica Jones show. I don't know what season, as Kilgrave.
Yeah, season 1. He's in season 1. Yeah.
So yeah. So and you know, he's a very kind of similar character to the main bad guy in this episode in some ways. Of,
yeah.
You know, having to be you know, how he can just control people, and
the persuasion there.
Yeah.
Make him do what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was funny because I literally went out and read that issue last night, and I was like, oh, this issue is great. One of my I thought it was a great classic Marvel comic there. And then you get into this, which if you get somebody that was like, oh, this reminds me of that guy. And it's cool too to also see the powers used in a different way than just being like, oh, here's somebody doing what's the way I want to say this,
like
is
discreetly, like these
yeah,
are really,
more discreetly, yeah, not just upfront was what I was trying to say. Yeah, and
it's kind of the first set of the powers from people that were affected by the meteor shower where they can do it and you not even realize it. Like, it's not obvious that they're using their powers. So I thought that was interesting
because he doesn't even literally tell this guy to jump.
Right.
It's a persuasion thing. It's like he's an internal voice inside this guy's head.
Yeah.
Go and do it, you know.
Do
It has to be one of the more traumatic ways though that someone that was affected by the meteors, because I think they mentioned they were like in a car that got hit by a meteor or something like that, or there was a meteor that hit around them or something like that. I'm like, pretty traumatic there.
I mean, I don't have any sympathy for this guy.
Oh, I don't either. I'm just, but like, because the thing is, he was obviously like this before the meteor. It just enhanced it. So, yeah.
At least his greed, yeah.
Yeah. And then we find out something else big in the next big scene of this. You know, a big reveal that I don't remember if we've seen ever before, but there's horses in Smallville.
We have seen that before.
Have we? Where was that?
Really? I don't.
In the first or second episode when Lex and Lana meet.
Oh,
you're so right.
Lana's riding her horse, and
Right.
Lex appears, and she's like, "Careful, Lex."
You're
Like,
100%
Like,
right.
what's up, Lana?
Yeah.
Well, we learn now that Chloe
And this, I
Clark-
think, this is the same horse that Lana was riding before.
Yeah.
This horse is, I don't know if it's Kristen Crook's own horse, but she consistently rides this specific horse
okay.
throughout the show.
Cool. Very nice. Well, we at least know that Clark and Chloe can ride. Maybe not well, for one of
For
them.
sure not
Clark
Chloe.
can.
Yeah,
Chloe has no
doesn't know what's
idea.
going on.
But Clark
Chloe's
can
only
ride.
there so that they are alone together, but she's not doing a good job because she's almost heading the opposite direction.
Oh. And then that's where we find out about this Kyle Tippett. Where I don't know, his whole character brought him something interesting with this whole episode as we learn more about him. Somebody that I don't know. I guess the whole sort of thing of him being involved with Clark and them was kind of weird, but also we saw a bunch with him where, and one of the big things with this episode where it's him doing all these bad things and Clark still seeing the light in him, which is a very Superman thing. You know, it's embracing that sort of Boy Scout mentality that Superman's known for.
Mhm.
What did you all think about seeing that throughout the episode?
I liked that Clark stood his ground even when Lana kind of got mad at him after like the incident with Whitney, where Whitney was with the persuasion was going to attack him, and Clark's like, "There's just I think more to it than happened." Even when Lana, he doesn't change his opinion even for Lana because he knows he's right. He's not gonna let this Kyle guy end up in jail for the rest of his life just so that he's good with everyone. And so I liked, like you said earlier, Ian, Clark always does what's right, even if it doesn't always seem like it's going to work out for him, So,
Mm.
I mean, I think he kind of put his foot in his mouth. I think he was a little harsh with Lana in some of the stuff, and I think this episode is a really great juxtaposition to the previous episode, where they were very forward with each other, lovey-dovey, very romantic, and then here it flips, and they're like, this is like the first time she's like mad at him. And I think she actually has every right to be, because, like, let's look at it from Lana's perspective here. And I think her reasoning for why she was mad later was more of a front, because she's like saying that it's about Whitney and how Clark is treating Whitney, but I think it's more about that she's like really scared because this person already in this show, she has dealt with people that are extremely obsessive of her and have tried to kill her. And so there's this thing with this guy who's like this loner guy in the woods for a bunch of years. She didn't see what spooked her horse, and then this guy's there over her. And then he gets taken to jail in this confrontation with her boyfriend. And then he escapes. She's freaked out. she's
rightfully so,
freaked out, and Clark isn't explaining to her any of the reasoning other than, I've known him for a day. I think he's cool.
Yeah. I got a feeling in my heart, That's true. When you Lana's perspective, she doesn't see everything that's going on. Yeah, that's a good point. Clark's not. He didn't explain to her like, "Hey, this is what happened." But I'm sure she probably doesn't want to hear, "Hey, your boyfriend was going after and attacking this dude," which she actually might want to because she would look at that as Whitney's defending her, which he was doing. He just was under the additional persuasion of the Bob guy or whatever his name was.
Yeah, he might have done it anyways. Maybe not to
True.
the extent, but
Yeah.
But I did like that scene that Clark brought up the fact that Whitney could have done this, because at this point they don't know any involvement with meteor rocks or persuasion abilities or anything. And Clark brings up the fact, well, he strung me up in a field. And her response is, what, you can't forgive him? And it's like, I don't know, it's a pretty big thing.
I was about to say, I think I'd hold that personal grievance forever.
Yeah, it's not like he put a snake in his locker. Like Clark, not that Clark would have died, but if Clark was if Clark was human, he could have died.
I'd like a snake in my locker. That sounds cool. Anyway.
And Clark, she makes it out. I am on her side for how she sees the issue with Kyle Tippett, but shoot, I just lost what I was gonna say.
He's lost his marbles. Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, I found it again. I get why she's mad, and I get that she's freaked out, but to say, and again, this is why I kind of think this was a front, because she's saying, just come out and say you don't like him, you don't like Whitney, and blah blah blah. And it's like, he just literally in the previous episode did something pretty big, and was saying, hey, this is a time that you need to go be with Whitney, So he's not petty like that, This is a little bigger. Him potentially attacking someone, Whitney attacking someone, is a little bit bigger. So, anyways, it definitely gave some tension to the relationships in this episode.
Yeah, for sure. This episode was another one that I felt like had a good bit going on around it as well, much like last episode. Like, some episodes I feel like are kind of more condensed in how, like, what they're dealing with, like more single track, but this one felt kind of more grander in some ways, at least how I felt about it. Like, we had all this stuff that we were talking about with Clark and all that, but then we also have all this stuff as well, like, even though it's still very much connected, it still kind of goes the other way with what's his name, Bob, is that his name?
I think so.
Bob Rickman, who's a complete douche, dealing, but then also we see all these dealings with him with Lex, and like, this episode is kind of like a Bob-isode, if you know what I mean. Like, we get almost as much Bob as Clark, it seems like.
Bob-isode.
Yeah, Bob-isode, yeah. So
I love the like, oh crap look on his face when he shakes Clark's hands and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was cool.
And then Chloe, though, that scene with Chloe where Kyle touched her hands and then she kissed Clark. And then, because I love the fact that they don't have any memory of doing it, so she's like, why is my mouth all minty?
Oh yeah.
Clark was like,
but okay, that scene made me think of something about how these powers might work.
Okay.
Because, like, as we saw earlier, with the scene where he got that guy to jump out the window, he didn't say jump out the window.
Yeah.
He played on like deep internal depression type thoughts. And I was just wondering if it's like they can't like get them to do something, or at least maybe it works better. I don't know the full extent, but okay, so it made me think that what if when they shake hands, that it gives them like a connection to their brain that they can actually see in their
Mhm.
mind, because how else would he know that Chloe, you know, likes Clark and that she would want to kiss him? Like, maybe that's the thing that was on her mind at the time, and so he like connected with that. Otherwise, it's kind of a weird, arbitrary thing to choose. And so I was wondering if it's more like that it's something already within them that they kind of enhance the voice of that subconscious thought. Like maybe this guy at the beginning was having thoughts about, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing good enough to save
Right.
people, and it's like it's a thought that's just there. You know, we all deal with these thoughts that run through our heads that are frequently, you know, kind of dark and like depressing, and it's because we have a louder voice that tells us not to listen to those voices that we can succeed. But if he can like tap into this and like enhance that voice, then it just made me think also that maybe there's a part of Jonathan that would want to sell the farm. You know, that
Yeah.
it's a big burden, something he inherited from his father, something that doesn't offer a lot of money or security for his family, but he holds on, and he also doesn't ask for help even when he needs it. So maybe part of him did want to do that, and that's how they can convince people. Like they attach onto those thoughts that are already there and enhance those voices, and that's how they manipulate people.
It's a good point. I think it works easier when it's something that someone really wants to do. So, like in Chloe's case, no hesitation. But in some of the others, yeah, it definitely, I think, takes a bit more. But it's still there. We all have those thoughts, and like I said, even Jonathan, he's probably had those thoughts before. He's just like, God, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah,
It's an interesting and deep way to look about it.
That's what I do.
I love Martha though when John like, I can't believe how did I do this? And she's just like, really? That's your excuse? Is how did I do this? You know, I just thought it was great. Yeah,
She was awesome in that scene. He's like, I'm not asking for help or being in debt to a Luther, and she's like, you don't have anything left.
yeah. She's like, you don't owe anything. You don't have anything to owe, or
Right?
something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what she
Yeah.
said. That was great. She might get the superstar of the episode just for that scene.
Yeah, it is interesting too. Speaking about powers too, of this is the first time that we see the power affect like two people and not just one.
Yeah, and the exact same power.
Yeah, the power of two. Something, I don't know. I swear I had something there.
I like to act like the power of one, the power of two,
Yeah.
the power of many.
Yeah. Clark's the power of one, they're the power of two, and then everyone else is the power of many. So, you know, it is interesting. It's like, I guess just each chunk gives its own thing. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting way to go about it, for sure.
But I
But
also wonder, does it just work through skin contact, or does it have to be the nerves in the hand?
I don't know, because it's always bare hands, because he didn't shake Jonathan's hands when he had the gloves on, and then as soon as he took them off, he was like, "Oh, my ankle."
Yeah.
So I
But
guess
could
it
he
has to
like
be bare.
just like put
Oh, I
his
see
hand on
what
the
you
back of
mean.
his
Yeah.
neck? Would that work?
well,
'Cause
I
it's-
think it's because it takes a few seconds, and so it's like if you just
Yeah, you couldn't maybe
do
keep your
something
hand
like
on
that,
someone's neck for a few seconds. I don't know.
Yeah,
unless you're
Unless
trying
it
to
was someone
strangle them.
close to you.
it definitely has
Right.
like the most
Yeah.
is innocuous the right word? But it's definitely the most easy way. However, I went through this entire episode thinking he would have nothing on me because I'm a germaphobe and I do not shake hands.
Maybe it works through fist bump. I don't know. Maybe if he like does double fist bump, maybe it's a
I don't
change.
even fist bump.
No touchy at all.
Darn.
No touchy. Even
No
before the
touchy.
pandemic, I didn't shake hands, and people looked at me weirdly. And then when that happened, I'm like, "Who's crazy now?"
True.
That's funny. Yeah. I particularly really like this one part where it involves Kyle and Whitney, and then Whitney snaps out of it. And they're fighting, and then Clark comes in, and this is the shot that I was referencing when we were talking about last episode. That I thought was really good when Clark comes in to interfere. We get this really nice slow-mo, the bat breaking. And yeah, I thought that was done really well right here.
Yeah, they're really good with those effects.
They sure are. The prime time of slow-mo. But yeah, no, yeah, we got a bunch of interesting relationship circles throughout this episode.
One thing about that scene that is a little, it's not odd, it just seems that there is an inconsistency or not full explanation of the effects of this power, because like Andrew, as you were saying, like Chloe like completely doesn't remember anything of that moment. She's like still standing there waiting for her to be like, okay, I'm waiting. But with Whitney, it's like it rewrote his memories. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I see. That's where I think one thing I've noticed with all the kryptonite freak of the week powers is I think it affects everyone differently. There's the same concept, but it's not like each case is different. So maybe it depends on what they're being persuaded to do, like what's being enhanced. So like Chloe was just a kiss, so that wasn't maybe as serious as Whitney going and defending his girlfriend. There's more at stake there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But even like Luther,
That's what I say.
did he remember
No,
anything about?
no.
Okay, so see,
No.
and he tried to he even almost killed him. So,
And that's like interesting too, because it was like, it's like a long process, because other than the fact that he's been manipulated into attempting to kill these people, he's still him, and he's still like, I always knew there was something different about you, Clark. And it's like,
yeah,
it's like they talked about like shocking someone out of the manipulation.
yeah.
And it's like, that didn't shock him out, finding that out about Clark or something. I don't know. Just,
yeah.
but definitely too early for him to learn that.
We did get another shot of the slow motion bullet, but at least it wasn't a lingering shot.
It wasn't too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he actually didn't make it. He was still shot. He saved him probably from being killed, but he still got shot.
Yeah.
I've always wondered if Clark could just like catch the bullet. Now I know that would be kind of obvious, but then no one would get hurt at that point. So
I mean, it's quite obvious if you're dashing to someone as well. So I mean,
that's true too. Yeah.
Arguably no obvious than you just waving your hand and go, "Oh, where'd the bullet go? Oh, magic
Right.
trick."
Be like,
right.
oh, I think it went that way. Yeah.
This character was cool.
And we get Hippie Harry here.
The hippie
Harry.
I think his name was Toby, but I like Hippie Harry better.
I know when they said his name's Toby, I'm like, you had a golden opportunity.
Toby.
Name him Harry.
Yeah,
like Cowdy's in the comics.
We're officially rewriting him to be Hippie Harry. I don't care what anyone else says.
But this is another revelation about Lex's past, and another reference to this thing called Club Zero, which is the thing that Nixon, the reporter, was saying that he was going to uncover and reveal to the public.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
right.
another little thread there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be revealed at some point.
No,
Oh, dang it. Well,
no.
I don't even want to watch the show
10
anymore.
years of the show, and they'll never tell you what that's about.
I don't even want to watch it anymore. I'm think I'm done.
Immersion ruined. This is me and Andrew's
Yeah.
last episode now. Darn
I
it.
made it 11 episodes, so at least
Love watched what is that? 10 seasons, is that right?
yeah.
So we're 5% through.
Well, all right. That's 5% more than I was 2 months ago, so I'll take it.
uh,
Oh, and then this another scene with them facing off.
yeah.
There's
A
still
complete flip to this. And for anyone that doesn't know, we're looking at stuff that
Yeah.
Spencer is showing us about
Ian's
Lana
just
and
talking
Clark are
to him.
in the
He's
locker
looking
room.
at an invisible screen and
Yeah.
But yeah, just a complete flip to the previous episode. And you know that episode, it was like at sunset and like, you know, romantic and stuff. And this is like dark. It's really cool.
yeah.
And she's like really trying to like save their friendship.
Yeah.
And he's just getting all hoity-toity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering like why he didn't like fill her in. Like say that like someone's trying to kill Kyle. Like there's more to this than what's going on. Because she like has been part of their like investigations about different things before.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he keep her out of that?
Yeah.
High schoolers.
Glad I'm not there anymore. Anyway,
Yeah. That's
You
a good
just
point.
graduated last week, right?
Maybe he didn't want to share too much. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, because like he doesn't like he's hiding at Lex's place. And I loved that moment with Lex that he's like, you know, he takes care of Kyle and he's like, yeah, he's gonna be okay, and I'll make sure nobody knows he's here. But oh, out of curiosity, Clark, why did you think I'd be okay with harboring a fugitive?
yeah. And then he's like, Atticus, change your shirt.
Yeah. Always gotta throw in a teaching moment for Clark about some aspect of history.
Yeah.
We had Napoleon in the previous episode, and Clark's like, Napoleon.
Yeah, what is this school
my
doing?
With the history there, because Clark's like, you know, he's from a different planet. He doesn't know some of the historical figures yet. I don't know. I feel like Napoleon
since he was 3.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the public school system has failed Clark, or he just doesn't pay. You know what? I know what it is. Lana sits in front of him in history class, so he never pays attention. That's what it is.
And she's not in his math class, and that's why he's so good at math.
Yes. All right, we're on to you, Clark.
Figuring it out.
He's like, and then he's talking to Lana, and he's like, yeah, Lex was telling me about this book, To Kill a Mockingbird, but I've never read it. And she's like, Clark, we went over that last term. He's like, oh.
Oops, I guess you're in my reading class too. She's like, you remember book club? You were there? You know?
Yeah. It's like I was wearing that cute pink outfit that I had just bought. It's like, oh. I remember
I prefer you in
I
yellow.
remember you. I don't remember the book.
Oh my god.
And then this lady, what a slacker. Like, how do you just not notice that he gets out of bed?
Because he mind melded her.
Oh, right. That's true. He's like, you're gonna read this book and you're gonna really like it.
It's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh boy.
It was all the rave, I've heard.
Oh, that's funny. I did appreciate throughout this episode Kyle's growth of for his character here, starting off as somebody that was very closed and then opens up. And so I thought that was a nice little character development throughout this.
Well, I did like the connection between him and Clark. When Clark first wants to go out to see him, like part of his reasoning is because I know what it feels like to have a part of yourself that
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to be isolated and alone, and so maybe I can talk to him. And again, this is a good follow-up to the last episode because Clark was feeling really alone at the end of that episode. And also, he probably was thinking about, again, a big picture thing, like potentially moving forward with Lana. Like, would he be able to be fully himself with her? Like at the beginning of the previous episode, Chloe and Clark see that little argument between Whitney and Lana, and Lana says, if you can't confide in me, I don't know why we're dating. And so Clark wouldn't really be able to fully confide in her about like his secret. So, it just kind of dovetailed nicely into this episode that he kind of gets someone that gets it, has a connection with it.
And even at the end, he tells him, he's like, he says something about not hiding your gifts from the world. And so I liked that there at the end.
Yeah. I definitely
really shows him full circle there.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was a really nice moment there, and I thought this episode wrapped up nicely. But I
don't know if I agree with this guy. Because one, he used his power to get Bob to kill himself with the gun. Not great.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
the pro of this,
because it's not like he can use his power to like change this guy as a human being. That's not what the power is. The power is to like do a specific action. Although they did say that the person will keep trying to do the thing that you told them to do until they do it. So maybe if he had told him to save the world or something to an effect that he would have to be doing good things throughout the rest of his life or something. And I know if not that, he wouldn't be able, they can't pin anything on him. As Andrew was saying earlier, you were saying that this power is invisible. So there's nothing really to connect him to these different acts. So maybe he thought this was the only way you could really stop him. But still, it's not good.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
And even the idea of, I'm going to go out into the world and use these powers for good. What good? Because the power is specifically...
It's a force thing.
It's manipulating people. It's taking away their agency. It's getting them to do things that they might not actually want to do. Or, as we were talking about, maybe it is like something within them that they do actually want to do, and it just brings that out. But still, it's a manipulation of people. It's removing agency. It's removing choice. So any use of this power, I don't think is good. So,
or maybe he's just going to go back to living a normal life. Maybe now that he doesn't have the fear of Bob.
That's true.
I don't know, but yeah, it's a good point. You can't really use that power for good. So, yeah, and he can never shake hands again. I wonder if like, anytime they shake hands, the power is used, or they have to like.
That's true. Does it happen
each
time, and like gives them the opportunity at least?
Because maybe if they're not trying to manipulate someone, if they're just like, "Hey, what's up, Phil?" and they shake his hands, maybe it doesn't do anything. But if they're
So-
like, "All right, Phil, I want you to walk in front of this bus," maybe then it like
Jeez.
does. Then
We
I don't
gotta,
know.
Poor
we got a,
Phil.
we got a good question here, from my good friend Trevor, who says arguably he could use them to gently help people out of bad headspaces.
Yes.
There you go. Yes,
Yes.
for sure.
That's a really good thought. He could become a therapist.
Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, especially if it is about stuff that's already inside.
Yeah.
And if he can see within those thoughts to that extent.
Maybe he can say like, "You don't want to do that." All right, good session or something.
Or at
Maybe
least
then
give
he
them
has
reasons
the neck
to.
theory. Maybe then, because if you're a therapist, you could be like walking someone out, be like, "You don't want to do that." I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's a really good thought. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Therapeutic supers. Hell yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why don't we have more therapeutic superheroes?
Honestly,
yeah.
he just needs to get on Bruce Wayne's payroll because that guy needs a lot of therapy.
Right. How to heal incel.
But he might get greedy getting on that kind of payroll, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he might be all like, you didn't pay me last week. Are you sure about that? Nah, you didn't pay me.
He forces Batman or Bruce Wayne to write him in his will as like he will take over everything, you know.
And if the power does allow you to see into the mind, maybe he would know he's Batman.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. A lot of confidential stuff in there, especially the stuff Batman knows.
I wonder how far Gotham would be from Smallville. I don't know if
I
they
think we
ever
talked about
mentioned
this a little bit. Certainly not across the lake.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
No.
that right now.
That's for sure.
I hate that depiction that they're so close like that. It's a good
Yeah.
question. We should all tweet at or not tweet at thread at what the heck do you call those posts? I don't know.
I don't think you call them anything other than threads.
Hey, we should all thread at James Gunn and see what he says. Because he has an actual map that they built or drew or something that he's
How long is James Gunn still going to be in control now that Netflix has bought Warner Brothers? What is that going to have an effect?
That's a whole other conversation. But the short answer to this is first, the deal is going to have to fully go through, which is going to at least take a year. And they also have existing contracts that last until, I believe, spring of 27.
Yeah.
So they're safe for at least roughly a year and a half or almost a year and a half.
Okay.
And I know some of the stuff, like with Warner Brothers, there's some things that like have to be released theatrically, no matter who owns Warner Brothers.
Yeah, so IMAX has a agreement contract with them so it's up until 2025. I was literally just talking about this whole ordeal with Trevor earlier today. He's a good gaming buddy of mine, and so we were talking a little bit about this. And so yeah, I kind of don't like that Netflix is getting them. So we'll see what happens. But
as long
I don't want
to
turn on Supergirl in here, badoom.
As long as you get far enough for James Gunn to reveal how far apart Gotham and Metropolis are.
Yes.
We'll be good.
I mean, he said that one of the first priorities was having a map of the DC world, of knowing where certain things are. Because as we talked, there's never been one set place for Metropolis, right? There's been different places that maybe it's this place or point B, but we've never gotten a set, thing about where it actually all is. So I would like to see this map. If we'll ever see this map, I don't know. But I love maps, and I'd love to see this map.
Yeah, I do too.
Same.
Quick last thoughts I had on this episode, though. Although if you all have anything else, by all means. I did love the whole aspect of being able to have a little bit of a Clerk versus Lex moment here. We actually got that full-on bulletproof moment that I was talking about that I was thinking was going to happen, like, whenever that was.
2 episodes ago.
2 episodes
the car explosion
ago.
looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
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 You guys will have to correct me, but because I missed those 2 episodes from a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember, were there car-related accidents in those episodes? Because if there were, then the previous episode, Shimmer would have been the first one without any car explosion or crash or anything.
I mean, there's the bus.
The bus was in Rogue, but
that's
Craving
right.
and Jitters.
I don't recall any car crash. Oh no, there was one. It was a single car crash with the deer and
Yeah.
Cravens. So I guess you'd
What
call
about
that.
in Jitters? Anything?
Was there one in Jitters?
I can't recall anything.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that one.
Lasted what, 8 episodes and no car crash? I had to lighten up the budget.
Maybe that's one of the ways that Smallville survives is the amount of money they get from insurance for cars.
Listen, just be glad that there's no airport here, as far as we know, or also they also be plane crashes.
Oh my gosh, that'd be insane.
I won't say a word.
Anyway, we did get a couple of comments about the whole Metropolis and Gotham thing. Bear's thinking, I'd like to think that Metropolis and Gotham are right beside each other.
That would make sense, though.
We have Trevor says, personally, I think it's more like Chicago to New York, which that's the kind of idea vibe I get.
That makes more sense.
That's what I personally like, but we'll see.
Because if Gotham was right next to Metropolis, you'd think Superman would help out there, and it wouldn't be as much of a horrible despot of a city.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Gotham's great. Just you got to stay inside at night is all.
That is right. I was reading a comic recently that said it was saying that during the day Gotham is normal, and it's at night that everything goes dark. I thought that was a little interesting thing.
Yeah. But no. Back to this episode. Mainly, I was just saying I really like the whole Clark versus Lexa, being able to get a little tease of it. And with things set up in this episode, it obviously worked that, oh, look, Lex doesn't remember this whole confrontation. Or that he's super, you could say. Yeah, that was nice. And then how the episode ended with how Lex was talking to Clark, that was very...
Yeah. It keeps reminding me the idea that they're going to end up as frenemies one day, and it's so the way that they are right now, it's just I can't see that happening, but obviously I know. But on the nose stuff, when Clark's like, you think we're ever gonna be like that?
Yeah.
Lex is like, no. Or Lex says, you think we'll ever be like that? And Clark's like, no.
Right. That is one of those things, though. When I was first watching the show, I did get to this point where I was just like, how can they become enemies?
How?
Like, how?
I know.
Because they just, one, wrote it, and two, these actors together just played it so well, this relationship between the two of them. So while it was definitely on the nose with the scene, I thought it was a really good scene.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it was a well done on the nose. It wasn't just like Fantastic Four. Say that again. Like this actually, like it fits with the characters and everything. So yeah, it wasn't forced. So,
and at this point, Clark considers Lex his best friend. Yeah. I think he said that to his parents, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's just like, what about Pete?
And Pete, yeah, he's been sidelined the last few episodes. What the heck? Like we've seen Chloe, but Pete's only had like a few lines.
I mean, even when I was thinking about that earlier, that line that he said, I was thinking, man, doesn't he have at least more consistent relationships and longer lasting relationships, like with Lana and Chloe. And I completely forgot about Pete, because
poor
it's kind of
Pete.
easy. He was in one scene this episode.
That's right.
Trevor is also asking, and I don't know about in Smallville, but Clark is canonically from the Midwest, right? And I believe that's always the case. So.
I think Smallville has always been in Kansas. Yeah, Metropolis seems to move. Like sometimes it's in Kansas, sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
it is in Kansas in this show.
Yeah,
yeah,
because it seems like it's only like maybe an hour to 2 hours away.
Yeah,
well,
like
we'll find out in Nicodemus how far away it is.
Oh,
okay,
interesting.
They
Good
say.
to know. Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Tune in next
spoiler.
week for.
Wow, we don't even get to be surprised.
Hold on, it might not be next week. Hold on, what is it?
It's not next week. It's the week after.
You're right, because next week
That's right.
is Leech Kinetic. Would be better if it's Kinetic Leech.
I know.
And then after that is Zero Nicodemus. What? How do you say that? He just said it multiple times.
I've never heard it pronounced that way. That's so funny.
Anyway. So we need your superstars for a hug really quick. I went first last time. Ian nominated me, so I'm going to nominate Ian this time to go first.
Well, okay. I'm not going to say Clark, but I did just want to mention, because you started the discussion about this thing being a big thing with how Clark trusts people. And I noticed that too, that this was, he has an innate trust of people and trust of goodness in people, even when there's evidence against the fact. And that's something big with Lex and his forward relationship with Lex, as well as Superman as well. But I don't know, at the same time, Clark kind of ticked me off at points in this episode, just with how harsh he was with Lana. I'm gonna go with Chloe, because she bounced back from an exceedingly embarrassing moment that she can't even remember, and is handling that with class.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
All right, what do you got, Andrew?
That's the thing. I don't know if I actually have one for this episode. I'm trying to think of like something that like stood out.
What about
overall.
Hippie Harry?
Hippie Harry.
Oh, he might just be the MVP just because he's iconic. He just came in. He had like 2 lines, and he was great. He stole the scene. I'm gonna go with Hippie Harry just because. Why not? Hopefully we see him again. We probably won't ever see him again, but we need a spin-off show of Smallville called Hippie Harry that just follows him with his medical.
And someone says, "I thought your name was Toby," and he's like, "No, that was a fake name."
Yes, I had to use that when I was undercover.
Yep.
I obviously it has to be Bob, right? No. I hate that I even made that.
What a businessman. He knows what he wants.
I will give it to Lex for the sole fact of how much he tried to help the Kents. When that was all going down, Lex did something he absolutely didn't have to do. And even for being a good friend, it was very generous. And so I think you've got to get I think I have to give it to Lex for that sole act alone there. Obviously there's things that, and he also did his best to defend against Bob. He knew for a while to not touch his hand. At least he just had the vibe. And so I don't know.
He was like you.
Yeah, with how much Bob was one of those characters that you just hate because of how he was just written / acted, you know, where it was like, or the acting with him, right? Like you just hate his guts. If you don't hate his guts,
It
then
makes me think of was it last week with there was one villain guy. It was either last week or 2 weeks ago where I said I could not stand his character because he did so well at acting.
who was that?
Phelan.
Phelan, that's right. Well, Bob Spencer, you brought that up. Bob kind of was
Yeah.
same kind of character. You're just like, get this guy out of here. Why is he
Yeah.
why does he
Yeah.
have so much screen time?
I hated him so much. And so that was, yeah. But
and one kind of little cool thing about his character is that he's so greedy that he doesn't have to be in Smallville. You know, he can go anywhere he wants, get whatever he wants, and yet they'd made a deal that he would stay out of Smallville, and it's the one thing he supposedly can't have, so he has to have it. So
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
it's just that's definitely just the nature of some greedy people, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
very nice.
So who is your Spencer?
Lex.
Oh yeah, it's Lex.
Lex, you know, gotta
Lex
love
with
me
an
some
Uzi.
goodness. Lex with an Uzi.
Irresistible.
How can I say no to Lex with an Uzi, you know? You just can't change my mind. Anyway, yeah, I think that'll pretty much do it. Next week is Leech Kinetic, not to be confused with the much more obvious name of a kinetic leech, but this is a leech that's kinetic. I don't know. We're going to figure it out somehow. We're just going to be me and Ian next week. So make sure to tune in next week. But until then, what do you have going on, Andrew?
Yeah, tomorrow night on Cam and Focus, we'll be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern to be discussing Arrival, which is a great movie. It's Denis Villeneuve. Amy Adams is like a scientist, and there's alien life that's landed on
that
Earth.
movie.
Yeah, great. It's a great movie, so I'm excited to. It's a nice cleanse after Thanksgiving from last week.
Oh, that was such a great movie.
No, don't
I
listen to
thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm not gonna lie. That
Watch at your
turkey
own
was
risk.
so funny.
The killer turkey might come after you, so fair warning.
Oh, that turkey was hilarious.
Gobble gobble. And then 2 nights a week over on the Feast of Phantoms YouTube channel. You can catch me over there for MCU Mondays, where we're talking about Jessica Jones, and Thursday nights the Cantina Happy Hour, where we are discussing the Clone Wars.
Very nice.
Still in season 2?
Yes, I believe we're doing. Oh, actually, we're not doing Clone Wars this week. We're talking about the Harrison Ford documentary that came out a couple years ago on Disney Plus called Timeless.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah, I watched it. It was funny because David on the show thought it was new. He just saw the trailer on his feed. I was like, "Oh no, that's from like 2 years ago." I said I saw it when it came out. But so anyway, we're gonna talk about that because we never talked about it when it came out. So
Nice.
Awesome.
yeah,
Very cool. Yeah. So
I had one thing.
Yeah.
One last thing that I wanted to mention.
Okay.
There were no hugs in this episode. Why was the episode called
clickbait? What the heck?
There was no
clickbait.
There was a hug in the previous episode, but there were no hugs. I know it's hard to handshake would be a stupid title, but
what if we just called it
shake? They have called it persuasion.
What if we just called?
And then in season 9, they would have had to change an episode title, but otherwise, maybe they should have called it persuasion.
I think they should have just called it shake.
Shimmer and shake.
Okay, that would have been a good combo.
Shimmer shake, yeah, exactly.
Sounds like something you order at a fast food restaurant.
Oh yeah, my favorite milkshake, obviously.
Of course.
What's in it? I don't know. You tell me.
You don't want to know.
Comment down below what you think is in a Shimmer shake. Until then, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, everybody. Also, what do I have coming up? I am let's see here. Why did my mind completely blank? I have some videos that I'm going to be recording next week that I'm very excited for. Which, without saying too much, I have two comic creators coming on. One that's returning, one that's new. Both being planned to be recorded next week. So I'm very excited about those. So make sure you tune into those, which I'm very excited for, as well as a comic review, as well as the D&D Trail of Conspiracy Homebrew should hopefully be back Monday. And then we'll be back next week for before. Oh, no, that's what I was forgetting. A couple days ago, I recorded a video review over Duke with my friend Warren, Lunchbox Comics, who's also a creator.
Not
check
Duke
him out.
Nukem.
Not Duke Nukem, but Duke from G.I. Joe. So that was a really cool review. So I'll be dropping that Monday or Tuesday-ish. So make sure to tune into that. So, but yeah, that'll do it as far as this episode of Before the Cape. I appreciate everyone tuning in. This has been probably our longest one yet.
Oh,
Maybe. I'd have to
It's
look
close
at all the
to,
others.
for sure.
It's close to where we're far, and I'm only prolonging it. So, but yeah. Without further ado, that's gonna wrap up this episode of Before the Cape, and I'll see you all later. Thank you everyone that came by to hang out. Appreciate it all. Shout out to Matthew, Chris, Trevor, Bear, and that's it. Appreciate everyone who came by and lurked as well.
thanks,
So
guys.
yeah,
Thank you, guys.
absolutely. We appreciate it, and we'll see you all next time here in the Dingus Den. Laters, everyone. Bye.